This week I'm at Angler's Paradise in Devon, a venue I've visited many times over the years and for the freshwater species hunter offers lots of weird and wonderful targets. Today I'm hoping for Wells catfish, Orfe and goldfish. Angler's Paradise is a huge complex with over 30 lakes to choose from. They have accommodation on site which is second to none, with luxury villas and probably the best fishing bar in the country. Every time I go in, I see something different. First stop was the Pixie Lake, which I'm told is chock full of goldfish. Now to be honest, few anglers would say they enjoy catching goldfish. They generally flop in like a sack of spuds and don't get very big. Anything over a pound is a decent goldfish, but I need one for this species hunt, so here I am. Bites were thick and fast, but naturally I caught everything but the fish I wanted, with koi coming out, which you could argue are a separate species, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole here today. I also caught plenty of little rudd with a golden hue to them, and some were really golden. I wasn't sure if this could actually be hybrids of rudd and golden Orfe. I'm pretty sure the goldfish started mocking me as they rose to the surface to scoff my bread, but I couldn't hook one to save my life. They aren't normally an especially hard fish to catch. Simple float and bread tactics typically work well. Eventually I tempted one to the hook, a lovely carrot coloured fish, and also the natural form of a goldfish, or a brown goldfish. These sometimes get confused with crucians, but goldfish lack the golden hue to the body, and a crucian has a convex dorsal fin also, whereas a goldfish's is typically concave. Once I ticked off my first species, I then headed to the Tench lake, which is actually shaped like a tench. I was hoping to get one of the grass carp in the lake, or failing that, a golden Orfe. Tactics were pretty much the same, just light float tackle and corn near some lilies. It didn't take long before I got a bite, and the rod bent right round. I thought I'd hooked a nice sized Orfe, as they can get up to 7 pounds here. But as it started to get near the surface, I realised what it was, a golden tench. Not a surprise really given the lake's name. I should say that golden tench are just a colour morph of the normally green tench and not a separate species, but I was still pleased to see one on the bank. After chucking it back, I cast out again and the float soon went under. This time it was a golden Orfe. Looking a bit like a big dace, these fish are an ornamental version of an eyed. So eyed and Orfe are the same species. You also get them in blue and koi colours. They aren't native to the UK, being introduced from mainland Europe for koi ponds and commercial fishing lakes. There are a handful of established populations, but typically they're found in fisheries where they've been stocked for match anglers. They fight well for the size and eager to bite in the winter, which is the main reason why they were brought over. With 2 of the 3 down, it was time to beef up the tackle and head to the newly dug beginners Catfish Lake for an evening session. I've caught a few catfish over the years at Angler's Paradise, and if you've never caught one, it's a great place to try and get your first, as they have multiple lakes with lots of cats, some of them up to 90 pounds. Now I'll be honest, I don't want to catch a catfish that big, so my aim is to try for a small catfish, as the size doesn't matter, I just need one. So I've got one rig with a hair rig pellet and another with a worm to try and tempt a kitten. One bait in the margins and another in the deepest part of the lake near the outfall to hedge my bets. Keeping with the ornamental theme here, there are several black swans on the lakes. They are a different species from the native mute swan, and they originally come from Australia. You're on the edge of Dartmoor here, so with the sun setting the views were spectacular. For the first hour or so it was fairly quiet, but I noticed my worm rod had a little knock. I know in the past if a little cat takes a bait, it knocks like this, so I hit it, thinking I could just reel it in, and then the rod bent double. This was no baby catfish.
Jesus Christ. Big as this fucker.
The pressure was on, as I really didn't want to lose this fish. The power of it was incredible. Even on 15-pound line, it was racing around the lake. Whales are one of the few fish that can swim backwards, so along with their immense power, are experts at getting your line tangled. After nearly 20 minutes, I started to make some headway and get the fish in the net. This was not only the biggest catfish I'd ever caught, but my biggest fish ever. Wels catfish are originally from Eastern Europe and introduced to England in the 18th century by the Duke of Bedford, the same guy who introduced Sander. While they'll happily scoff pellets and boilies, they're a predator and will eat fish, frogs and even ducks. In the UK they average around 20 to 40 pounds, with a handful getting over the £100 mark. In places like the Ebro and Spain they can get over £200. They don't have teeth, but rough pads to grip prey and a cavernous mouth to swallow it. They're quite slimy, so be prepared to get covered. Ledyard pellet, worm or dead baits all work well, though fish baits aren't permitted here. I've no idea the weight of this fish, so comment down below if you've got a rough idea, but I'm putting it around the £20 mark. Not what I expected at all, but absolutely chuffed to catch it. Hope you enjoyed the vid. These videos come out every Monday, so do go back and watch previous species hunts, and let me know, what species do you think I should go after next time? Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, liking the video and subscribing to the channel really helps me out. But you can also donate to my buymeacoffee.com link, and all the money from that goes back into making new films for the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. You can check out some other videos in the links here. Also check out my website and social media, as well as the podcast that I host, the Bearded Tits Podcast. Cheers.